Hey, it's Phil from Hab Bootcamps, and today I'm going to talk about the negative effects of porn. Now, at the moment I'm making this video, me and my Habit Bootcamps community are holding a 30-day no porn challenge. I came out with the fact that I've been struggling with porn addiction for a big part of my life, and I want to bring more awareness to porn and its possible negative effects. So in this video, I'm going to explain all the detrimental and bad effects porn and porn addiction can have on your life and your communication and relationships with others. There are a lot of misconceptions about porn. A lot of people have something like, isn't it healthy? Isn't it a natural urge? Of course, porn has come a long way. In the past, maybe it were just erotic pictures or magazines. But during the years and with the coming of the internet, it has become faster, more extreme, more available all the time. In the past, you had to go to a special video store or buy a magazine and then hide it in your room and look at it secretly. But now it's available on our smartphones and on our computers 24/7. So the possible negative effects are even more increased than in the past. So for everybody who would like to know more about the negative effects of porn, let's take a look at the 15 negative effects of porn. Number 1, it disables true intimacy. Porn is only a click away. Some studies show that the average age at which a child sees porn is 11. It's the first introduction to intimate behavior and what a real intimate relationship should look like. Often this is the first imprint of how humans intimately relate with each other. That is something which not a lot of people are talking about right now, but there is a sexodus going on right now. A lot of especially young men who are not interested in intimate relationships anymore or communicating or having a relationship with women. Relationships for them are just too difficult, they can't be controlled, and they just make them too uncertain. They can do whatever they want by themselves, masturbate on porn on any woman that they like, they don't feel judged, they don't feel shamed, and they don't have to perform all the time. Compared to these virtual standards, reality can only be a disappointment. Porn makes relationships and sex just seem like way too much work. So they rather take the path of just watching porn and masturbating by themselves. Number 2, you need more and more extreme stuff to get aroused. I remember when I was checking out porn in the beginning, it was just natural kind of porn. But just because I was addicted to always saving something new, I started watching more and more extreme versions. Even stuff I didn't like, but I was like, let's just check this out just because it was something new. This is triggered by dopamine, something which I explained in a previous video about how porn addiction works. You anticipate something new, it's the anticipation of reward, and that constant search for novelty and anticipation is triggering dopamine in your brain, which causes goal-oriented behavior. But because the synapses in your brain are overflooded, you need new and stronger and more extreme versions to get aroused and to be excited. So emotions like excitement, guilt, shock, disgust, all are triggering strong emotions which trigger dopamine in your brain. So when you combine strong emotions and novelty, you have a powerful cocktail to keep on searching for new and more extreme stuff. It's going to give your brain the strongest and most intense memory. That's why you're seeking out more shocking material, because that gives you the biggest dopamine hit. But the stronger those explosions of synthetic experience and sensation, the stronger new experiences you need to keep on having the same feeling and excitement. Else you just get habituated. Often I didn't even like it. It's just the shock and surprise that gives you that strong emotion and anticipation. So this can lead to an escalation of abnormality of porn. You don't actually watch it because you like it. You are just curious because it's more extreme. You can even start developing weird fetishes that you never knew existed before. Number 3, you need porn to get aroused. You can become dependent on porn to get aroused. I know I did. It's such a sad fact, but sometimes I needed porn to get aroused. Even when I was with a real woman, I had to retreat to my fantasy or go to all those porn images again to actually get a real erection with a real woman. Real sex with a real person just didn't satisfy me anymore. It doesn't have to do with a high sex drive, because else you would get aroused by a real life woman. No, it has to do with all that porn that gives you constant novelty with new naked women, new environment, and new scenes. So you never can be satisfied with a real life woman, and then you have to retreat back to the images that get you aroused but take you out of the present moment. Number 4, you have an unrealistic image of sex. Because young men and girls are being bombarded with more and more explicit material, it kind of sets the standard for intimate sex. Boys are demanding more and more extreme behavior of their girlfriend by anal, deep throat, choking, submission, and other degrading stuff. And they are disappointed if they don't. Now, if it's a mutual trust and you both like it, it's no problem. But if it's an expectation and you always expect your girlfriend to be like a porn star and do exactly the same thing as in porn, you really have a porn addiction and an unrealistic image of an intimate relationship and sex. Watching porn all the time makes you accustomed to thinking this is how they like it and this is how it should be. Women start to be treated like toys. Number 5, erectile dysfunctions and impotence. You start to have sex, but you can't get a hard-on. Men who watch porn regularly can start to have something which is called chronic erectile dysfunction. But it's not a permanent problem, because when they watch porn or get aroused by porn, they have no problem of getting an erection. So this means that their erection is actually dependent on porn. This effect is called porn-induced erectile dysfunction. This is also another argument against the claim that porn addicts have a higher sex drive, because they can get it on with porn, but they can't get it on with real life women. Porn trains you to have immediate gratification and it makes it difficult to last long. When you are aroused, you reach your orgasm pretty quickly because you're used to masturbating at the same time. Thus, orgasm tends to be pretty fast. The porn user hasn't trained to give his spouse or partner pleasure. They are just focused on themselves, on the images, and immediately start masturbating. So the body is programmed to orgasm quickly. Many porn users then suffer from premature ejaculation. It's fast, easy, and quick. It's in their hands. They only focus on themselves and their pleasure, and that is it. So you're more of a sprinter than a marathon runner, and you run out of gas pretty quick. Or you can't even get it up, especially during foreplay. Because in porn, there is almost no foreplay, and if men watch porn, they skip the part where there is foreplay. Number 6, porn replaces our imagination. You start not to have a healthy imagination anymore. You can see almost any perversion that there exists out there online, so there's almost nothing that can surprise us anymore. Porn can also be replayed online or in our imagination, which makes it even worse. So pretty much, we've seen almost everything, any position, anything that's out there, without actually trying it ourselves, and oftentimes we've seen it with the most beautiful women in the perfect angle, and when we do it with our partners, it's just less exciting and less new, less novel, and less stimulated as we expected. Often the unpredictable and the unexpected is what makes us excited, but when we've seen everything that exists out there online, there isn't really much of a surprise and room for our own and mutual imagination anymore, because we already have an idea of how it could or should be. Number 7, searching for the perfect orgasm, which is a phenomenon called edging. I remember going on porn sites and opening several windows, constantly looking for the perfect scene, the perfect woman, the perfect environment, until I finally found the perfect scene and video that will give me the perfect hit. And before I knew it, I wasted so much time scrolling and checking out and clicking through. This phenomenon is something that is called edging. You deliberately deter ejaculation and maintain a high arousing state, looking for the perfect hit that will finish you off. In the beginning, you're very horny and aroused, but after a while, that momentum, that excitement and horniness dissipates, and you kind of get that let's get this over with kind of feeling, which makes you feel empty afterwards. Because we are looking for that perfect scene and perfect hit for such a long time. But when you're a regular porn user, you probably have seen so many scenes, so it takes more time to see something new and see something that excites you again. I opened up so many windows and was looking for the best scene or something that was even better, and before I knew it, so many time was passed and I wasn't really that excited anymore when I was masturbating, and I came in the end. Number 8, it's a huge tax on your productivity. This is something which I call porncrastination. We have precrastination when you put off things that we know we should do, but we can waste so much time scrolling, checking out new porn videos, and before we know it, so much time has passed without us actually getting anything done. You can be doing a meaningful task that you know you should be doing, you're productive, but then you get an urge, you're anxious or you're stressed or you're depressed, and you want to find release. And you check out porn sites, and before you know it, you're scrolling all the time, looking for the perfect hit, and so much time has passed. All your energy, willpower, and attention has been wasted on porn instead of doing the most important tasks and be productive, which makes you feel unfulfilled at the end of the day because you wasted so much time on not doing what you know you should do. It's such a huge time consumer. When you think about how much time you're sitting in front of your screen just scrolling through porn, instead of using that time to do something productive, you will notice that there's a lot of time that you spend scrolling and searching that you could actually be using to do something productive, get ahead in your life, and actually feel fulfilled at the end of the day. Number 9, social anxiety. On the internet, you don't have to learn how to express yourself, but how to express yourself in genuine, sincere, and authentic communication that is being done in the real world with real people. Then people appreciate you for who you are, you get real feedback, and you develop as a person. You only learn how to communicate with other people and deal with other people by going outside, having conversations in the real world, opening up, being vulnerable, sharing your emotions, and figure yourself, the world, and other people out. That way, you develop meaningful interpersonal skills. Stepping in a committed relationship is one of the best ways to grow as a person and get to know more about yourself, your shadows, and your personality and character. But you won't get that from just sitting behind your computer, scrolling through porn and watching porn videos all the time. It's safe, it's comfortable, you're not being judged, you're in control, but you won't develop that much as a person. And it can make you feel anxious when you're actually in contact with real people, because then it's interactive, then they give you feedback, and then you don't know how it will be. It will maybe be a bit uncomfortable in the beginning, but that's how we grow, to put ourselves in uncomfortable circumstances. When we're used to just looking at porn and erotic images and we're pleased and they don't judge ourselves for who we are, it can make us feel safe. So when we're addicted to porn, it can make us feel socially anxious to actually approach a woman, to actually talk to her, to get to know her, to get feedback, to put ourselves out there, to put ourselves in intimate and vulnerable circumstances where we have the risk of being exposed, being judged. But that's how we grow through human, authentic relationships. Not with us just watching, observing porn, and not actually developing a deep, meaningful connection with people or ourselves. Number 10, lack of sexual confidence. Just like real communication only really develops with real people, real intimate sex only develops with having sex with real people. Your lack of sexual confidence can make you feel unaroused, and the fact that you're unaroused and only aroused by porn makes you not want to connect with real people. It has to do with the previous point that when you're in control and you're just sitting in front of your PC and you're just clicking and can choose what you want to see, you don't feel judged. When you observe sex and porn, you are just a voyeur. You are not a participant. You don't really develop sexual skills, and you will have a distorted view of what sex is like and how you should perform. But you never really tested it out in real life. You also don't develop the skills to please a woman, because most of the porn is actually male-oriented. Everything in porn is orchestrated and blown out of proportion. Sex is something you discover and learn with a real person, and it takes time and trust. Having no sexual confidence, no real experience, no real sex will actually makes you feel less sexually confident, more nervous, and more anxious, which can even stimulate you more to watch porn, not approach women, or not put yourself out there. And you have this distorted view of what sex should be like, but not a real blueprint of what real meaningful sex looks like. Number 11, depression. Depression can cause social isolation, and social isolation can cause depression. When you don't feel a true connection with yourself and others, you tend to isolate yourself and retreat more and more. You estrange from yourself and from the world, and you lock yourself up. Then you have all these depressed, anxious, and stressed feelings, which can make you more prone to just watch porn and find a way to fill that void and escape, which is actually the last thing you should do, because it only enhances the social isolation and the depressed feelings. But it seems more preferable to just scroll on your smartphone or on your computer, just finding an easy way of release, which will be a small reward for the loneliness that you feel. But I say depression is the compression of expression. The thing that people do when they are depressed is they don't put themselves out there. They don't try something new. They stay locked in their room and locked in themselves. But if you truly want to tackle your depression, stress, or anxiety, it's a matter of transforming it into expression. putting yourself out there, using your energy that is trapped in your body, that anxious, stressed, and depressed feelings, into something constructive and meaningful. And just sitting in front of your PC, watching porn and scrolling can be a fast and easy release, but it won't change the underlying feelings of anxiety, depression, and stress. It can cover the fact that you don't love yourself and you don't think anybody really cares about you, and that quick release of looking at a beautiful woman who doesn't judge you can make you feel safe and comfortable, but you will have that empty feeling afterwards and you will feel in a low vibration, depressed state. So if you get out there and really connect with people and have intimate relationships, doesn't have to be sexual, but you feel part of something bigger than yourself and a meaningful network, that will help you get out of this depression and this need to get a quick escape with porn. Number 12, emotional numbness. Because masturbation and porn can be a cover-up for a lack of self-esteem and self-love, it can blunt your emotions and it can be an escape from uncomfortable emotions. Covered emotions like guilt, fear, and shame can make it even feel worse. You feel guilt, fear, or shame, so you watch porn and you masturbate and come, and then afterwards you feel fear, guilt, and shame again, which makes it even worse. And this whole cycle continues. Porn can become self-medication to flee from pain and a short-term pleasure to escape from pain. But you're trying to fill a void. You feel empty on the inside. When I watched porn and I came, I felt empty afterwards and was asking myself, why did I do this again? I didn't feel better afterwards. It never really gave me the satisfaction I was hoping for. It gave me the effect that a lot of addictions have after a while of wanting it more, liking it less, and never really feeling satisfied. Often, when I felt anxious, stressed, or depressed, it was a quick escape to get outside of my mind, just flee, have a little dopamine and pleasure rush, but then it subsided and I felt bad and empty afterwards. It was just a way to flee from uncomfortable emotions and have some short-term pleasure. It didn't really provide a permanent pleasure or permanent change or a fulfilling feeling. Number 13. Porn causes problems in a relationship. The inability to get aroused or achieve orgasm can create significant problems in relationships, not to mention her physical discomfort. Orgasm in both men and women causes neurotransmitters like vasopressin and oxytocin to be released, which are the bonding hormones that create a connection between a couple. If you frequently and intentionally don't get aroused, don't get excited or lust for your partner, it will create frustration and it will create distance between the partners. Furthermore, a woman who can't arouse or pleasure a man is likely to feel that she's no longer attractive or desirable to him, which can be a devastating blow to her self-worth. And she's actually right to feel insecure. Studies show that partners who regularly watch porn actually find their partner less attractive. As I said before, males can also not find it worthwhile to have real sex anymore and rather just masturbate and watch porn instead, which leads to a lack of intimacy. Oftentimes, as a porn addict, I hopped from woman to woman or one night stand to one night stand without really being pleased or being committed to one woman. I easily got bored and hopped on to a new experience, but I never really developed that deep, meaningful relationship and just had that superficial, short-term pleasure. Also, it makes it difficult to develop an intimate relationship and really be present in the relationship. As soon as something displeases you, you revert back to your fantasy or pornographic images of how you think things should be. You rather discharge by yourself when you're in control and it's exactly how you want it, rather than developing yourself sexually and optimizing it with your partner. It can lead to what Naomi Klein said, that real naked women are just bad porn. And porn also causes selfishness, because watching porn and masturbating by yourself is only focused on your own pleasure, your own body, and what you like. It's not something interacted or something negotiated or something you develop together. It's only focused on yourself, so it's very self-centered. But when you're with a partner and when you're in a relationship, it's something mutual. You also take care of the needs of somebody else. You get to know them, they get to know you, and then you try to adjust to each other's likes, dislikes, and needs. But porn is only focused on your needs. It's exactly how you want it, you're in control, and you are certain that it's exactly the way how you want it. But that is not how relationships work and how communication should be in a relationship. Number 14. Porn makes you sexually lazy. In porn, everyone is turned on all the time. You don't have to make any effort to arouse someone. There is almost no foreplay in porn. If your partner isn't aroused, you think it's somehow their fault. There is no expectation of easing into it, turning each other on slowly and create an intimate environment first. We never develop the skill to be a good lover or romantic partner because if the partner is not reacting to our sexual needs, she must be frigid. Porn is mostly focused on getting your needs met. It's not about meeting someone else their need or exploring a wonderful experience together. Porn makes sex all about the body and not about intimacy. Intimacy, actually into-me-see, looking at the world through someone else their perspective. Instead of getting in your own body and looking at the world through the other person's perspective, you're just getting in the other person's body and only looking at the world through your own perspective. Porn also makes it hard to be tender when you're having sex. Most porn out there is very aggressive, very assertive, very dominant. There's almost no room for romance, softness, easing into it, and foreplay. And number 15, porn distorts sexual energy. In yoga, they talk about Kundalini energy, the serpent's energy, which is the life force. It's also situated in the sexual center in your body. It's located in the solar plexus and it radiates throughout the body. Sexual energy is actually the creative energy that creates life and aliveness. If we channel our sexual energy only in porn, we abuse our creative energy. We develop apathy and stop putting energy into our life. We stop investing into our life, our creative expression, and other people. We don't charge up and use that energy constructively. We are constantly in a low energy, vibration, and mind state. I noticed this when you masturbate, watch porn, and come a lot. You don't use your sexual energy constructively. You don't charge up from yourself or from the world or have all this excess energy that you can use in a constructive way. No, you just use it for some short-term pleasure. But when you start charging yourself up from the world, from connecting with others, you will have an abundance of creativity, expression, and energy in your body. And that way you have a lot more energy and freshness to wake up in the day, do something constructive, and give a meaningful expression to your existence on this earth. You feel a lot happier, fulfilled, and satisfied, ready to tackle the world, and then you can use your seed to put it in the soil and build yourself up from the ground up instead of just dispersing it and letting it go to waste. That way you can use your sexual and creative energy to build something meaningful and constructive. So these were the 15 negative effects porn and porn addiction can have on your life and your relationship with other people. Please share this video and this message if you want to raise awareness about porn and porn addiction and how it can affect people's lives. It's something what a lot of people are struggling with, but it's not often talked about. You can change it. Know that a lot of people, including me, are struggling with it. So let's talk about this. Let's bring this into the light. Let me know what lessons you've learned from this video by dropping a comment. I know we can solve it. Hey, it's Phil from Habit Bootcamps, and if you like my channel, don't forget to subscribe and check out some more videos about how to install good habits, quit bad habits, and get rid of addictions.